Hey, Natsu here. So today I'm going to do part 2 of What If My Hero Academia was a bit like One Piece, or was kind of like One Piece. In the last part, um, well, in the last part, Deku and Bakugo had finished their training with the old man. Um, Both of them had haki, all three kind, to a pretty good amount. Um, Deku had two third generation, well, not third generation, third grade sword, and which one of them was cursed, and one second grade sword, which someone on Discord, I don't even know if his comment is still there, asked me, why do you give him those right now? It's too powerful, which, no, like I said, yes, he's able to use them, but his power isn't enough to basically bring out the entire potential of the swords themselves. Basically, he has that right now, but he's only around the level of a weak hero. He wasn't even close to that. Um, After that, he met All Might. He got a Devil Fruit, which was the Mochi Mochi no Mi, so special Paramecia, as well as All Might deciding to train him to give him the One for All fruit, which basically, like I said, has well, the natural power of One for All, as well as 7 quirks inside of it. So yeah, only one of the quirks is actually going to be like the original, because, well, one of the fruit power, because float does exist, the float fruit, so Nana Shikimura still has the same fruit that she did. So yeah, other thing that Deku has is Blackleg, which isn't extremely powerful, basically, once again, since he has the power to use it, but he doesn't have the full potential of it. Both Deku and Bakugo can use it's wait, it's called Skywalk, which at first was harder to use, but over time I'm pretty much they did learn to use it. I'm not sure if I said that, but still. So now Deku and All Might are going to train. Deku will say at some point to Bakugo about the fruit, One for All. And in school, he'll basically just say that he found a weird devil fruit that he didn't actually know the name of, and then basically say that it looked in a different way. Basically, All Might is going to explain to him exactly how a smile looked, so that Deku can basically say how the fruit that he supposedly ate looked. So they're going to say, so you ate a smile, and basically that you got powers that are extremely weird, because just like the smiles in One Piece, all of them except the One for All fruit and All for One fruits, they all have animal powers, so they're going to think that what Deku ate was a smile that was basically an improved version without too much weakness that were added. Like, he won't have horns, so they're already going to think that, yeah, it's a better version, and hope that no other will come out of that. So that will be the explanation, which a lot of people will basically question it at first until basically thinking, yeah, why would he have this many powers? Nobody can eat more than a single fruit. So they're basically going to accept that, okay, yeah, he found a very powerful smile that basically everyone is hoping won't be seen like more of. So now, from when All Might, well, when the Syrup villain basically captured Bakugo and almost killed him, and that Deku found out about Namochi. Now it's about 2 or 3 days later, and he went with All Might to train for the 10 months. Come in the anime, he trained every day, but after school or after different things. In this one, there's a small difference. Because of how many people basically train, Deku literally asked his teacher if it was okay for him to only come, well, teacher and the school director or whatever, and basically told them that he wanted to train more, to basically help himself control his new devil fruit power, because, well, they can be hard to control sometimes. So, he basically asked if for the next 10 months he could come only 2 days a week. They told him not 2 days, 3 days minimum, so 3 days a week he said goes to school, the rest of the time he's basically training almost always, which Bakugo basically forced Deku to bring him with, so both of them do the same thing, only 3 days. Basically, he wanted to know what the hell he was doing. He didn't want to let Deku go in front of him. So Deku basically told him that he was going to train with a hero, but to not tell it to anyone. He's going to bring him, but please keep it a secret. Which Bakugo, since they're friends, they are rival but still friends, basically accepts that. When Deku arrives at the beach where All Might is, All Might sees Bakugo, like All Might's in his skinny form for now, but he still sees Bakugo and is like, "Young Midoriya, who is this boy?" Which Deku says, you remember in the syrup villain incident, this is Bakugo, the guy who was stuck inside of it. Sorry about that. All Might asks why he's here, and Deku basically tells All Might that both of them always trained together, basically, or at least kept kind of a balanced level of strength between them, and that Bakugo didn't want to be left out, since he's going to train. Deku basically explains afterward about his school, how he's only going to have to go 3 days at school, and the rest of the time he's going to be able to train, and that Bakugo's basically going to be the same. So, All Might asks Deku if Bakugo knows who he is, which Bakugo says, well, I don't remember any hero that looked like you. Which All Might says, well, you have to keep this a secret. If he is okay, if he thinks you are good enough to be trusted, I'm going to tell you. I am All Might, the #1 hero. Which Bakugo basically starts laughing, thinking you must be joking, until All Might tells him, well, see for yourself. And All Might basically buffs up, which Bakugo basically just stops laughing and is like, wait, You're the real All Might. And basically starts hitting Deku, telling him, "So you're training with All Might and you just told me you were training with a hero? What the hell?" Which Deku basically told him, "Hey, he asked me to keep it a secret. I couldn't just say it to everyone." Which Bakugo kind of told him, "Well, fine, but I'm still training." Which All Might is happy to hear that he's going to train two people. Because, okay, yes, he's going to give his power only to one person, Deku, but that means he's still going to give power, well, give strength to someone else as well. He's going to give the fruit to Deku, like, literally just like in the anime, after the training. But the only difference with the anime is that it's going to be about 1 month earlier. Because compared to that, Deku's going to have been able to clean the beach in about... Well, Deku and Bakugo will be able to clean the entire beach in about 4 months. Which, yes, if you look at the same amount of power they already have compared to that, true, but they're not allowed to use their devil fruit powers. And no, neither do they have the... Like, All Might tells them, no Haki, no devil fruit powers, and no weapons. So, Deku and Bakugo already have to keep all of that out. So, they basically start cleaning the beach as normal people. And the only reason it takes 4 months is because they do that for about an hour every day, and then they train physically in other way for about 2 hours. They relax a bit, then they go back to the beach for 1 hour, and basically do that, so they're not constantly on the beach. When they're not training with All Might, both of them are basically training their Haki or Devil Fruits, or Deku basically training his Black Leg and 3-sword style, 2-sword style, 1-sword style. So, over time, they are getting pretty strong. Once the 4 months have passed, Deku and Bakugo basically finished the entire beach. All Might is really proud of them, but he's not sure if he should give Deku the power yet. Because remember, in the anime, he finished the beach and then All Might thought he was good enough, but his body was still breaking from the power. In this, the power is extremely more powerful because normal people are extremely more powerful already. So every people who had One for All increased it almost infinitely more. So just that isn't that well. In this moment, I would say that they are closer to Shoto than in the original. So, not that in the original, but that before, since Shoto was basically a... Well, how should I say this? Bakugo and Deku were at the very low level of hero. So, heroes that are not really powerful, they are heroes, but they're basically not there to fight or do stuff like that completely, since their devil fruit are or not that powerful, or their physical strength isn't, so they're mostly there to help or control like some situations. they're about that. After the 4 months of training, they're still in that, but a lot higher. While Shoto's, because of how his dad does everything, yeah, he's kind of stuck like that and keeps going stronger. So, wait, what was this devil fruit? Doesn't matter, it's only going to be needed in the next part. I'm going to check it later. But yeah, basically, after that, for 5 more months, Deku and Bakugo were told by All Might to train physically and in terms of hockey a huge amount. Bakugo and Deku, about 1 month later, basically thought of something. They're devil fruit users. Hockey can harm them, yes, but other things can make them weak, like water and sea prism stone, which both of them basically know that villains are able to get their hands on that. And some villains are able to make bullets or other things like that to basically throw at heroes or people that have devil fruit to weaken them. So both of them asked All Might if he was be able to get Sea Prism Stone, like handcuffs or bracelets or something like that, that they could basically wear. Yes, it would make them weaker, but if they're able to basically adapt to it, it could be good. Nobody even tried it before, so even he doesn't know it. But both of them are basically thinking, if we could, that would make us a lot harder to kill or beat. Which, the only reason I'm saying that is because, remember, both Bakugo and Deku are extremely intelligent, and both of them try to find ways to do stuff differently. Or if they see something that's basically like, oh, I'm doing this, but that happened, they try to find a way to go over it. So, since they remembered that, they basically asked him, which he was able to get from UA. Basically, the reason UA has those is basically for hero training and stuff like that, like hero versus villain. Instead of normal tape, it's tape with some Sea Prism Stone on it, so that someone who tries to basically wrap it around someone, the person can't just like use a Logia power to go away instantly. They'll get caught and they won't be able to get away. That's basically the reason. So they do have Sea Prism Stone. Which then, since All Might asked, whoa, yeah, his name is Nezu. Shoot, that didn't want to come. But yeah, basically, All Might asked Nezu. Nezu asked Power Loader to basically make some. Power Loader asked why, which Nezu said some people want to train using them. A friend of mine asked me to get him some, so he basically makes 2 bracelets that Bakugo and Deku will be able to wear constantly, or near constantly, to hopefully train, which Power Loader and almost everyone else basically doesn't understand how that would work since it's make you weaker. But like we saw in One Piece with Luffy, if you train while having Sea Prism Stone on while you're a Devil Fruit user, you're going to increase in strength slowly with it, but if you remove it, your strength will growing a lot faster, truly, because, well, you're training in a weakened state, which basically, if you reduce your power by 100, augment your power after that, like double it. Once you re-increase it by 100, your power is not just like, oh, getting back to what I was, or increasing simply by the amount of power you increased on top of it. You're going to multiply that bonus as well. So basically, they're going to be able to train at an incredible rate, which is why they're going to finally be over Shoto. So basically, it took around a week. So all they had left to train once they received them, before All Might decided to give Deku his quirk, which was a month early. So basically, they had 3 months and 3 weeks left to train, which for the first few weeks, they were exhausted. No matter where they were, at home, at school, or training, they tried to keep it on. Well, no, except training, because they needed to be able to move a bit. So at first, they basically just had it over time. Once they started getting a bit more used to it, they started training with it. Which, over time, over the few months, basically made them a hell of a lot stronger. They weren't able to use their devil fruit power while it was on, but it made them quite a bit more powerful. When removing them, they're not godlike, but they're not weak. It's the entire opposite, actually. So, compared to their low-level hero, they're now around mid-strength, which is stronger than Shoto, but not too far in front of him. They still keep them with them, basically in a small pocket that's basically coated with something to basically make it so that it doesn't touch them directly. So when they truly need it, or if they were to face against someone who has a devil fruit power, they could literally just take it out and put it on them, and bam, they're done. So they basically have that. So when All Might decided to give the power to Deku, it was basically at the end of the day. Bakugo was going to leave with Deku. All Might said that he wanted to speak to Midoriya in private for a bit. He needs to talk to him about the entrance exam. Bakugo asked why he couldn't come with, and Bakugo was literally told by All Might that he wanted to train Midoriya exactly for one thing in there. Because there is a specific thing that most people don't realize about it, that he really wants to talk to Deku about. But he promised Deku to tell him, and Deku promised to not tell it to anyone, and this promise he intends to keep it, which is totally false, but basically made it understood for Bakugo that we already broke one of our promise, so this one kind of needs to be kept. So Bakugo accepts to leave in front, and then All Might basically gives a part of his DNA to Deku, telling him that after it's digested, he's going to get the power, while for him, it's going to leave slowly. But not to worry, it's still going to be there for a while. Reason why in this one he says it is because Deku already knew about that. Like, two people cannot have the same power from a single fruit in itself. Like, if someone else were to get the power from that specific fruit, while someone else has it, one of them would lose the power. So, Deku already knew that, okay, yeah, he's going to lose the power at some point. But All Might still wanted to tell him that it's going to take a while, it's going to be okay. So, then he gives it, Deku eats the hair, he leaves. The next day, All Might asks Deku to basically try something. Basically telling Bakugo to try to do the same, to see if they would be able to do it. Basically saying that it's an advanced form of Haki, that if you're not able to use it right now, it's okay. Basically making it look as if Deku has a better Haki control, or that basically his own Haki is better at doing that. And then he's going to tell Bakugo that it's okay if he's not able to do it. That means he's probably going to have better strength in other things. Basically, All Might tells Deku and Bakugo to concentrate the power around the arm, but trying to make it as less as less powerful looking as possible, but inputting as much as he could in the arm. Bakugo's arm stayed the same, but Deku's arm started to grow, which Bakugo thought was because of his Mochi Mochi fruit. All Might told them to to send a punch, and to imagine the force moving all the way in front to their fist and going out. Which, when they did it, Deku basically used One for All at 100%, almost exploding his arm, but at least it grew back because it was made of mochi. But Bakugo was also able to send a shockwave, a lot less powerful, but still a shockwave made of Haki. Basically, think of what Rayleigh did when, right before the 2 years time skip, where he basically pushed back an elephant just by putting his hand in front of him, without touching the elephant. It's basically that, but while Bakugo was punching, he basically sent a wave of Haki in the same way. Deku used One for All to do that, which both of them were basically... Bakugo just saw that, okay, he was able to do it a lot more powerful, and his arm broke. All he was thinking was that, okay, that's weird. And asked Deku what the hell that was. Because we're both able to do that, but how was yours so much more powerful? Deku just said that his mochi probably, when it blew up, basically made it that much more powerful, or something like that. All Might told Bakugo that at least he was still able to use it, but if possible, he might want to use his explosion at the same time. Deku used his devil fruit, so maybe if you do the same thing, it could be more powerful as well. So Bakugo basically does that, and it does make it a lot more powerful and sends the explosion a lot further. All Might wasn't sure if it would even work for Bakugo, but that surprised him. But still. So they trained with that, basically Deku over a single month, basically learned to control it to make percentage, which he's able to only control about 3%. Because remember, yes, Deku is stronger, but One for All's power is hugely more powerful. So he's not going to be able to control 5% right out of the bat that easily. And 3% is still bulging his body and doing a lot of damage. He also got full culling, well, full body, because All Might realized that, well, he's only putting it in a single part, so it's 3% on the whole body. For the entrance exam, Deku and Bakugo basically get there, get seated next to each other. Deku doesn't meet Ochako yet, which I'm only going to go for those two's quirk for now. Well, for two people's quirk to be more honest, which is Ochako and Ira. The others I literally won't talk about them in this video, so Ochako's devil fruit is the Tantan fruit, which I think in the anime and in manga it was on Dressrosa. Basically, the Tantan fruit allows you to change your weight from 1 to I don't remember how many tons, increasing your weight instantly. Another version of the fruit, which is the Kilo fruit, allows you to do the same thing but in kilos instead. So she has the upgraded version, the stronger one, which she uses in a pretty powerful manner. It's going to come in later. For Ida, the fruit he has is wait. Shoot, right. I can't pause this. So the fruit name is, let me just check a bit. Okay. I don't know why I just wrote Lucci's fruit. So from Water 7, Lucci's fruit is the carnivorous zoan, leopard fruit, or jaguar fruit. One of the two. I don't know why I just wrote Lucci's fruit. But yeah, basically he has that, which means he has the power to transform and has a lot of speed. Or is it the cheetah? No matter. Basically, those are their fruits. So, written exam. Bakugo and Deku got a bit behind on that since, well, they trained for almost every day and only went 3 days a week to school, making them a lot more powerful, but lose a lot of time in school. They were able to keep up with the works and tests and homeworks because, well, it's still those two, but they weren't able to do as much as they wanted, so yeah. Then they go to the assembly, they speak, well, President Mike speak to them, which he has Apu's fruit, which is the music fruit that we see on the archipelago. So he basically can turn any part of his body into what are they called? In French it's instrument, but in English it's a, oh come on. I just wrote he has a boost fruit. But yeah, basically he can turn any part of his body in something that makes music. So, yeah, and basically the same thing kind of happens with robots, explaining what they are, then the zero parter, and then going to the, well, in front of the cities. Since Deku didn't bump into Uraraka, and that she didn't save him or help him, he doesn't go and talk to her. But so Ida doesn't go and bother Deku. Then President Mike start saying that they're going to start, saying 3, 2, 1, and the door opens. And Ida was sure he was going to be the first one in, but Deku was already inside. A lot faster than anyone. Ida was kind of able to keep up, but was still behind. Ochako basically started going from her normal weight to putting 1 ton, basically to increase her weight and the power of behind her punches, which she was pretty powerful in herself in this one. Not at the level of a low tier hero, lower than that, but still powerful, making it so that she can break robots easier. Also, there's a lot more robots in this one because, for one, most people are able to break those robots kind of easily if they have a devil fruit, a weapon, or stuff like that. Deku has his 3 swords, he can use black legs, and he has his devil fruits, which are allowed because, well, a hero can use any types of weapon in this world. So swords, yeah, sure, why not? Bring them in. Just don't use them on other students. So, Deku basically using 3 sword style and breaking robots, using black legs sometime, basically kicking them and breaking the hell out of them. People just looking at this kid like, how the hell? At one point, there's even a robot that's able to get behind him. The robot tries to cut Deku, doesn't really work because he's made of mochi. So even if he doesn't see it coming, since the robot isn't made of hockey, it's basically not worth trying to hit him. Deku is able to then destroy the robot. And basically he continues like that for a while. Ochako at some point basically starts going further using her quirk, making her weight stronger, well, a lot higher. Basically at one point she used her own weight, jumps up in the air, and basically passed to 10 tons, and basically smashes into a group of robots, destroying them all. Deku saw that and was pretty impressed because, well, that's a good fruit if you know how to use it, like almost all of them. Jacket fruit. But basically, everyone kind of keeps getting robots and destroying them, some people helping others. So, at one point, there's just Deku that is about to get to a certain robot, and just a laser basically passes right through it, and it's a girl, basically telling him that, sorry, I took it first, and basically laughing before going off a bit further. Deku doesn't know her yet, but she will be in Class 1A. She is the person to who I wanted to give the fruit from the personality test. So, that's her. Her name is only going to come up in the next video though. But yeah, she's a girl, blonde hair, and pretty tall. So, Deku then continues breaking robots. Ochako passes next to him and go further in the city. He sees her but doesn't really mind. And sorry about that. And then the Zero Partner comes out. The Zero Partner pushes some rubble down, falling on Ochako, basically putting her, well, keeping her down there. Even if she increases her weight, which does increase a bit her strength, she's not able to move it, mostly because of how she's placed. Screaming for help. Ida is the first one to just think to run in and help her because his speed is great enough to basically allow that. The problem is, Deku basically just goes straight up, passes next to Ochako, using his full speed, jumps up and just makes a bigger arm made with mochi, and just thinks of destroying the robot. Which, what happens is he puts as much haki as he can, making the arm pretty much just looking like a normal hockeyed arm, and then putting One for All at max power inside of it. The arm basically looks as if it was starting to be on fire, which basically isn't really that, it's just the amount of power coming out of it. And Deku just smashes it in the robot. And it's not just destroyed. Almost 3/4 of the robot basically just gets turned into nothing. The amount of power itself basically demolished it. Everyone was just amazed. Until the huge amount of wind pressure basically come crashing down on the ground and basically pushing everyone away. Just a simple strength changed the entire weather in the area, which everyone was just in awe about that. When Deku reached the ground, his arm was literally blown off, which he regrew out of mochi, since it was made of mochi when he used it. So he basically went to Ochako, took the rubble off, and asked her if she was okay. She said her ankle was damaged, but that she would be okay. Which, not long after, the bell rang, which means that Recovery Girl could come in and help everyone. When she arrived to Ochako, she basically used the blue flames to heal her since she has the Phoenix Fruit. She can fight, but she doesn't want to. She's basically a healer. So, just like for the normal Phoenix Fruit, she could heal herself from pretty much almost any thing, and she can help others, but her healing on other people isn't as strong as on herself. Like, she could probably regrow her own arm, but she wouldn't be able to regrow someone else's arm. It would basically just kind of heal over with skin, and that's it. She told Deku that Nezu wanted to talk to him. Deku asked who Nezu was, and she said that it was the school director. So, that he should go to try and find him. He told Ochako that he was leaving, and that he hopes she gets in, and then he goes. Bakugo on his in his town, basically destroyed a lot of robots, but compared to Deku, who was able to use a huge amount of things, he didn't get as much points. Simply because Deku literally had a huge amount of powers, speed, and blah 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 that he could use. Also, I forgot to say, I think that not long after Deku basically got the power of One for All, like before the entrance exam, Bakugo saw how Deku could use that power, and he asked about it, and Deku just said it kind of just showed up after a bit. When All Might explained to us how to do the Hockey Smash, basically that's how he called it. Not long after, he was able to learn how to do, what he's doing. Bakugo asked him, when you got the mochi fruit, how did it look? Which Deku basically remembered how All Might explained to him how a smile looked, and he basically said it looked like a weird fruit, but he still ate it. Then explained what it looked like. Bakugo just thought in that moment that it wasn't a normal devil fruit, but he knew that smile existed, but normally people don't get told how they look like. So, Bakugo and Deku gets to Nezu's office and basically talk to him. Nezu first knows that those two trained a lot together, so that's why he also called in Bakugo. Nezu asked Deku what his power was, what devil fruit that he ate, which Deku said that he knows he has the powers of a mochi mochi fruit, but he also has what he used in the end of the entrance exam. Nezu asked him, so, I looked in your documents, and the place where you have devil fruit, it says not sure. Which he asked, what did the fruit look like? Which is basically to look in a book. Basically, he's just thinking it's the mochi fruit, but it has something weird to it. So he's basically asking if he ate any type of fruit and all of the type he could have eaten. But Deku basically thinks of it and says that when he ate the fruit, he basically found a white fruit that looked like a pear a bit, but had some spots instead of swirls, which Nezu instantly said, "You ate a smile?" Which Bakugo said, "Wait, but aren't smiles only used by villains and made by a group of scientists that are questionables?" Which Nezu says yes, but if something were to happen to a smile user, the fruit can still get reborn. So, you found a smile, which Deku says that it's more that someone basically told him that, after Deku helped them, the person gave him the fruit saying that he already ate one, and can't you take this one, but he found it in his garden once. Which Nezu basically thinks, so someone found this fruit in their garden, gave it to you for helping them, and since they didn't know what it was, and neither did you ate it. Which Deku basically said that, yeah. So Nezu told him that they're going to put in his papers that he ate a smiles and the abilities are not fully known, and told him that it could have been extremely dangerous. but that the fruit seems to be extremely powerful and unique. And then explains to Bakugo and Deku that most smiles basically have the powers of animals, or sometimes other abilities, but not something that powerful. Like, smiles can be made for animal uh, Zoan users or sometimes Paramecia type, but nothing as powerful as that. And most of the time they get horns on their heads, which basically represents the smile. So everyone that will see that will basically say, okay, this kid basically made a small mistake, but then see Deku and think, okay, that's weird. But still, Deku then explains, um, to Nezu what he did because it was interesting. Which he just said that he augmented his arm with his mochi, then increased it even more by putting as much haki as he could, and then pushed every bit of power from that other thing inside the entire arm and basically gave the hit to try and destroy it. Which did work. So Nezu tell him that he just wants him to be careful, okay? And that he should not use that power lightly. Deku and Baku basically just said that it's okay if they don't want the power to be used, and then they take out the bracelets, which Nezu basically sees it and asks, "Did All Might give you these?" Which both of them basically just look at each other and kind of says shit. And then just say, yeah? Which Nezu smiles and said, so, you were the ones he was talking about. Well, hope the training went well. And then just kind of realized that, wait, are you not weakened by them? Which Bakugo and Deku just laughs and says, yes we are, while putting them on. Just saying that when they put them on, they can't use their Devil Fruit powers or Haki because it's too taxing on their body. But they're still able to move around and fight even with it. Which Nezu basically just laughs a bit, saying, so you're telling me you're able to move around easily with those on? Which both of them say, yeah, we are limited, but we're still able to do pretty well. He then just looks at them and tells them, you can leave now. All I wanted to know is, I've learned all that I wanted to know. While they're leaving, he basically tells them, yes, also, both of you will be in class 1A. School starts, and then he says the date, which both of them are really happy, and he tells them, see you then, and they leave. I'm going to end it here. So, in the next part, I'm going to say the devil fruit of each people in class. Remember, Mendata's not there, and the girl with blonde hair is going to take his place, so that's something that you have to keep in mind. I'll also have to put quirks for class 1Bs and for multiple heroes. But yeah, so hope you liked it. Natsu, oh yeah, if you liked it, leave a like. If you want to join the Discord, look in the description below. And Natsu out. YouTubers have to say that now if they want to hope to have a lot of things, so yeah. Natsu out.